Chairman. Thank you for being here, Mr. Vogt. I assume in your job, Mr. Vogt, you receive a salary?
I do.
Okay. And your family has a fixed amount of income every year?
We do.
Okay. How long would your family last financially if every month you just charged more and more to your credit cards and paid the minimum?
We would face ruin financially because at some point people would start to collect on what we would owe them. Yeah. And we would not be able to pay those bills, and they would come asking for our house.
Well, I mean, at some point, the amount of interest that you would be paying on the credit card would take up most of your disposable income, would it not?
It would.
Yeah. The federal government's kind of in that shape right now, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah, I saw a statistic the other day that we borrow $1 million a minute, $1.4 billion a day. Since we've been talking, we just borrowed $2 million to run this place. I want to thank you for trying to save taxpayer money. We have a legislative auditor in Louisiana who goes in and does an audit of all of the state programs. Our auditor did an audit of our Medicaid program. I'll read you the incomes of some of the people on Medicaid in Louisiana that he found. Recipient number 1 on Medicaid makes $155,840. Recipient number 3 makes $311,069. Here's an oldie but a goodie. Recipient 13 makes $390,968. Recipient number 8 makes $124,227. You know what happened to those people? Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. And you're a mean old man for trying to save taxpayer money. Do you believe that there is a single, solitary, fair-minded person in America who didn't just parachute in from another planet, who doesn't believe there is waste in the federal budget?
I have yet to meet one of the average day Americans.
And it's their money. I mean, you can laugh if you want, but it's inappropriate. I want to ask you about an article I read. Are you familiar with the expression "use it or lose it" spending?
I am.
What's that mean?
It's some would say a practice in which if you are at the end of the fiscal year and your spending is going to lapse, there's an incentive to spend that money so that you don't have it sitting as an unobligated balance that would then cause us, when we write budgets, to say you don't need additional money the next year.
Are you aware that at the end of last fiscal year, the Department of Defense at the last minute spent $4.6 million on lobster tail and crab?
I am aware of that report, and we're looking into it.
Somebody else bought a Wexford leather club chair for $9,241. Another agency spent $53,004 on China tableware. $673,471 on golf carts. I mean, that's a disgrace. I mean, that's just a disgrace. Do you know how much Americans spend of their hard-earned money in America every year trying to help people less fortunate than they are?
Pardon, what's your question, sir?
Do you know how much, sorry, I'm not being clear. Do you know how much Americans spend of their hard-earned money every year, tax dollars, to help people less fortunate than they are?
They are very generous. I don't have a specific figure.
Try $1 trillion. That's 12 zeros. So I just think people are mistaken when they suggest that if you're trying to save money, that somehow makes you a cold, heartless person. and I wanted to thank you for your efforts to try to help us save taxpayer dollars.
Thank you, Senator.